Hi, how are you guys? This is Shimrandi from Life Design Topics, and today's video is going to be about our children. You know, we're like, if we're not physically preparing with like uniforms and stuff like that, we are mentally preparing for that transition. We are mentally preparing for the transition. There's a transition that I think that people need to be aware of. Okay. And I speak from having some experience, but being firm about what kind of experience I'm expecting when it comes to my children and the educators and the people that come into contact with their children. Okay. There are some schools that have people working there that forget that they are there to help and educate young children. Some people, it's just another job, right? Because when it comes to education, it's really like an afterthought. I know in the state of New York it is. It's like you just need any kind of bachelor's degree and you can, you know, do some kind of teaching work or substitution or whatever the case may be. And I think that it's highly important for you to, like, now that we've had this experience of doing a lot of hands-on and homeschooling and being like super involved in like information that our children are taking in, what they're learning, the rate that they're learning it at, let's keep that same energy when they go into the new school year. Hopefully, you know, educators will be just as excited about seeing the children and being around the children, having not had one-on-one contact with our children. I personally, like, my own opinion, right? So my own opinion is I think homeschooling is really important, but the only way that could even be feasible is that moms need to be supported, either for them to have an alternative way of making an income or for them to be supported and for social services to be available to them. Now, I know that they don't care about our children that much, so, you know, hopefully, hopefully when, you know, we go back to school, you know, our children are not with adults that have like no patience to be with our children. Hopefully teachers are being supported and given aids for, you know, classroom spaces where they are, you know, educating over a certain amount of children. In my opinion, I feel like, you know, 10. 10 is that number that a teacher can sit down with other students and actually be able to focus and pay attention to what they're learning. You see, when you start getting into those like numbers of 18 and then over 20, it's just a total lost cause. And the parents know that, but the school systems want to pretend that they don't know that. And I've just come into one too many, you know, experiences with adults and schools that just really don't care about our children. I have, there was a school though that we had such a great experience with in Florida. It's a school in Miami Gardens, and it's called Scott Lake. Man, that's an excellent school. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The principal, educators, like everybody that's there, they are there to just deal with the children that day. Like, I have just never seen such the vibration. You can feel the vibration when you go in, where from the guys that are outside to make sure that the kids are getting in safely, all the way to, you know, the lunchroom staff. Like, they really care about the kids. That was such a great experience. So, like, you know, that's my measuring stick. It's my measuring stick. So don't leave anything to chance when it comes to your children in school. Look over their schoolwork. And then here is the bit of information that I want to leave with parents, especially if you have in the past been called into parent-teacher meetings. Go in there with a grain of salt. With a grain of salt. because you got to remember that children spend a great amount of hours in a school space, right? Think about it for yourself. If somebody came towards you hostile and you're at home, you're automatically going to behave differently than if you're out on the street interacting with that person, or if you're in your home and then you're confronted that way. Children need to feel safe where they are, especially where they spend a great amount of time. And what I've noticed is, no matter how bad the report or how disgruntled the teacher is, or how questionable the interaction is with the teacher and the student, always remember that your child always has an explanation. Children always have an explanation. Now, whether you have the patience to wait with them for them to feel comfortable enough to give their explanation, that's a whole nother thing. But children always have an explanation. Always make space for your children to be able to communicate, for them to say what's on their mind, for them to give their explanation, for them to talk about how they feel, for them to speak about how they feel about what they're being taught. If they feel that they can do something more advanced, if they feel that somebody is bothering them, if they feel that they're being bullied. Like, you want to make sure that there's a total reciprocal space of communication going on between yourself and your child. And then once you have that, then you'll be able to at least understand if it's happening or not happening between the child and the educator, okay? Do your part to advocate for your children to have supportive staff. For him to have supportive staff. And yeah, and that's it, right? So that's all this video is about, because it's been on my heart for a few days, and I am preparing my children and preparing my thoughts and getting an understanding of what my children are learning, and just like trying to kind of foresee where the ball can possibly be dropped. So our children are really at school for them to be someplace, but the real teaching and learning happens with us. It really, really does. If something may be presented to them at school, but if they fully grasp it or learn it is a whole nother story. So, let's just pay attention to that and just be really excited about this new school year, and be optimistic. And I hope that you guys have a great school year ahead of you. And, this video is going out before July, because you never know what can happen with whatever the policies are. We don't know if our children are going to start school in August, or if they're going to start earlier than that. Granted that, they've missed so much school. So, whatever that is, have a great one, guys. Feel free to like my interior design page, Providence Life Design, to share and like my videos here on Providence Life Design here on YouTube. All right, have an amazing one. Take care.